Today on TD Jakes.
A miracle cannot be explained by scientific laws.
I was just screaming in the hole of the tree, Annabelle, answer me.
She turned and said, I went to heaven when I was in the tree.
I saw my great-grandmother.
There was 2 nurses getting me prepped for the morgue. The peace that happens when you're transcending is an amazing feeling.
This is absolutely miraculous.
It looks like he's dead.
I'm indebted to everyone that rescued me.
After my spirit left my body, I was able to look at the scene on the riverbank. My body was dead.
Death is being robbed real good today. Today, we are going to have a conversation. He has disappeared. You can stop this. Are you sorry? Oh. I'll tell you one thing. It's worth fighting. Look at that. Look at that. Look at who's cheering for you. The village is with you. Woo-hoo. Woo. You know, we talk about miracles all the time, but do you really believe in them? If you're a skeptic, today's show might just change your mind. Today, we are talking to fascinating people with astonishing stories and experiences that most people could explain only as a miracle. From survival miracles to medical miracles to near-death experiences. Today's show not only will enlighten and inspire you, it also will fill you with hope and wonder. I want you to ask yourself a question right now. Do you believe miracles are possible? By the end of the hour, I want you to ask yourself that question again. You might be surprised at your answer. Last year, I produced a movie called Heaven is for Real. Did y'all see that? Now I'm producing the follow-up movie called Miracles from Heaven. Here's a little bit of the real-life story behind that movie. Take a look. In December of 2011, 9-year-old Annabelle Beam was climbing trees outside her Texas family home with her sisters, when suddenly Annabelle slipped and plummeted 30 feet inside of a hollowed-out cottonwood tree. Her sisters frantically ran for help. It took 5 hours for firefighters to extract Annabelle from the tree. They rushed her to a nearby hospital where doctors feared the worst. What Annabelle told them made international headlines. Please welcome Kevin Christie and Annabelle Beam. So glad to have you here. I wondered in my mind, how did you get yourself at the bottom of a tree?
Well, me and my older sister were playing in the tree, and we were both sitting on the branch, and the branch started to give way, and so she said, get in that hole, and then once I get down, then you can get out. So it turned out to be hollow, so whenever I got down, it went all the way down.
All the way down is 30 feet down. Whew. How did you hear that your daughter was in the tree stuck? What happened?
Our oldest daughter, Abigail, came and got me. I was inside the house and the 3 girls were outside playing, and she frantically was pulling me, physically dragging me out the door, telling me, Mommy, Annabelle has fallen in the tree. Well, my mind did not understand that. I thought she was climbing in the tree and had slipped a few branches and was stuck and needed help navigating down. Then Abby showed me the front of the tree and pointed 30 feet in the air and said she went in that hole and she's in the bottom of the tree.
Wow. You needed some backup.
Yes.
When you came out there, what did you do and what did you find out?
My first instinct was that it wasn't going to be this bad. You know, I heard she was in the tree. I actually was at work. I'm a veterinarian and do some large animal work. And so Christy told me she's in the tree. I don't really know what's going on. Please get home. And I actually ran and grabbed one of the big ropes that we have at the clinic. Somehow I'm going to try and take care of this and get my daughter and help her.
At this point, you still thought it was a daddy job?
Yes.
And how much time are we talking about here?
I would say by the time that I arrived on scene, there had been at least an hour probably that had taken place. Abby originally was trying to kind of I guess like me, was kind of trying to take care of it on her own.
Incidentally, Abigail and Adeline are on the front row. Welcome. We're glad to have you here. This is what I'm curious about. It took 5 hours to rescue Annabelle. Those 5 hours as a father sounds like hell on earth.
It was very close to that. I mean, when I first looked into, and I finally got up and looked into the tree and looked all the way down, like looking into a well, and I could actually see her body on the ground. She wasn't moving, she wasn't doing anything. That was a moment I'll never forget.
5 agonizing hours. You can't get her out. You can't chop down the tree. You can't do any heroic television stuff.
You just want to reach in and grab her and touch her, and she's physically right there, and yet she's forever away.
As a mother, what are you feeling?
Well, right before this event happened, Annabelle had been in Boston because she had 2 incurable digestive disorders. She was very, very sick. Just days prior, she had said, "Mommy, I'm done. I'm ready to die. I want to go to heaven and live with Jesus where there's no more pain." So I remember telling him, "Don't you take her. Please let me have her back. Please don't take her like this. Don't take her, God."
Annabelle, do you remember being in the hollow of the tree?
I remember there was a ledge, and I would try and get to that ledge, and I remember Abby saying, "We're calling the fire department," and whenever they were like, "I'm gonna get you out."
Kevin, when did Annabelle tell you what she's seen in the tree?
It was not until the entire next day. She was, carried off by a helicopter, went to the hospital. They did a battery of tests on her. We were able to actually get her out of the hospital the next day, and we were in our vehicle driving, just about like this, big truck, and there were 3 of us in the front seat, and she turned and said, "I went to heaven when I was in the tree."
What went through your mind?
I wish now, looking back, that I had said something brilliant and profound.
Right.
Because I didn't. All I said when I looked at her was, "Really?" I mean, like, "Really?" And then Annabelle said yes, and she began to tell me. And it took several days for her to unfold the story of what she experienced in the tree.
And there was something that she said about no pain in heaven?
Yeah, so Annabelle was shared with us about how she sat on Jesus' lap and how she told Jesus that she wanted to stay. And he said, "Annabelle, I have plans for you on earth that you cannot fulfill in heaven." But he said, "The firemen are going to get you out. And when they do, there will be nothing wrong with you." And Annabelle told me that there was no pain in heaven, that she felt better than she'd ever felt her whole life.
Annabelle said something about seeing her grandmother.
Yes. The first realization I had that I was in heaven was I saw my great grandmother, so my grandparents' mom, and I saw her, and that's whenever I kind of realized I was in heaven because she died a few years prior to that.
Are you buying into this? Are you believing this? Or did you know you were going to end up on television talking about this, or are you just driving the truck going down the road thinking this is going to stay in the truck?
Yes, that's how I felt like it was. It was, she just kept sharing her heart. But then the more details she unveiled, the more I couldn't deny the reality of what had happened. And then the time schedule with what was happening on this side being connected with what was happening on her side, it was eerie.
Let's put these 2 worlds together.
Okay.
Outside the tree, you all are going bananas. People are running everywhere. The fire department's there. Everybody's trying to get her, and you're just frantic. Yeah. Inside the tree, Annabelle's like chilled out with Jesus. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's go back to when she was 4 years old and the battle that you've had with her health, and talk to us about how sick she's been, because you have to understand the pain that Annabelle has experienced to understand the power of her saying that Jesus told her there was no pain in heaven. She's known more pain than a child should ever know.
Well, when Annabelle was 4, she started having what we call tummy troubles, and then she fully obstructed abdominally when she was 5 and almost died. 9 days later, re-obstructed, did another major abdominal surgery, and she was diagnosed with 2 incurable digestive disorders. And she lived on the couch in the fetal position with a heating pad on her stomach. She was on 10 medications at the time. That last year she was sick, she was hospitalized 9 times, no less than 5 days each time.
The doctor has said this is an incurable disease. You've been traveling from Texas to Boston. It's a long ways trying to get help for your daughter.
Yes, sir.
And to no avail. And she's having a good day, one of the few good days that she's off the couch and she's able to play with her sisters. And tell me, as her sister, what is this like for you? Your sister's stuck in the tree and you've been playing with her. What are you feeling?
I felt so guilty because I felt like it was me that told her to go in the tree because I had no idea that it was hollow all the way to the ground. And so I was freaking out, first of all, because the branch we were sitting on was breaking and I knew we were 30 feet up and I knew that if we fell there would be some serious problems. And so I was thinking, oh, there's a hole right there, just crawl in the hole. And then she crawled in the hole and she never came back out. So I went back and got a flashlight and I got a little headlight and I kind of shined it in the hole in the tree. I couldn't even see the bottom. The flashlight wasn't powerful enough. And so I just dropped the light and I told Annabelle, I said, I dropped you a light, but she wouldn't answer me because she was unresponsive.
When she didn't answer you, did it run through your mind that she might be dead?
Yes.
And that was horrifying.
I honestly didn't allow myself to think about it. I called to her for a solid 5 minutes. I was just screaming in the hole of the tree. I was like, Annabelle, Annabelle, answer me, Annabelle, Annabelle, answer me. I couldn't wrap my mind around the fact that she could not be answering me because she might be dead. Like, I just refused to let myself think that.
More with Annabelle and her miracle from heaven when we return. Stay tuned.